Hello, this week I'm catching up with Cliodhna, one of the violinists in the ICO. Now, as well as being full-time musicians, a lot of the people who play in the Irish Chamber Orchestra are very passionate about other things too. And over the last month, Cliodhna has been working on a pilot project for the orchestra. Cliodhna, hello.
Hi Matthew, how are you doing? Lovely to see you.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, you too. Now, come on, I'm not going to steal your thunder. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, I just recently created a pilot podcast for the Irish Chamber Orchestra. Decided to call it ICO Cast, and it was sparked by the programme that ICO have just performed this week in Limerick and in the concert hall, which was all about tangos. So I thought, let's create something and see if the orchestra are, what they think about it.
Fantastic. So I know from all our conversations that we've had on coach journeys and in the bar and blah, 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 that you've got a real interest in the spoken word. And I know that also you're quite interested in radio and broadcasting. I kind of wanted to know really, how did you arrive at the podcasting idea?
Well, for me, I always loved words. I was a massive reader growing up as a child and loved poetry as well. So I really loved the rhythm and the music, the melody and everything about language. But radio was very much all about music. It was all about pop and rock music when I was a kid. Dave Fanning's show was unmissable. And then on RTE Radio 2, and then our local radio station, LMFM, used to have this late night show called Radio Romance with Michael Gerard. Anyone from Dundalk or Louth in the 80s and 90s will remember that. And it was our way of finding out who fancied who, and or asking someone out secretly or doing a secret admirer thing or whatever. So it's kind of like a little gossip network. We didn't have Instagram, we didn't have Facebook, we had Radio Romance and making mixtapes from the radio and everything like that. And when I moved to London in, I think it was it 1993? It was 93. I discovered Radio 4 and a whole world of spoken word radio. I fell in love with the Archers. Woman's Hour, I absolutely adored. Front Row, In Our Time with Melvin Bragg. And I used to fall asleep at night. This tells you how not great of a sleeper I am, but I used to fall asleep at night to the shipping news. And
wow.
Yeah, you remember that, Matthew? And Sailing Away,
Yeah.
You remember the music?
Yeah.
And I used to hear Carlingford Lock in the shipping news every night. Mm-hmm. And that's the lock that I grew up by. It's the lock that I sailed on as a child. And it just made me feel really close to home. It brought me all around the coast, but it also brought me home. So it was this huge comfort and security. I went to America for a couple of years, and in 95, the same year that This American Life started. And it was, for me, it was destination radio. Like that timer was set. I had to be home. I had to listen when This American Life was coming out. I discovered NPR, Terry Gross, one of the most amazing interviewers. Car talk. Like I didn't know anything about cars, but these guys would talk about cars and you were just so enthralled and engaged. And then as soon as I was able to get, as soon as we had mobile phones and we had an iPad, an iPhone with the music little app thing, I discovered podcasts on that. And I was like, so it was from about 2005 or 2006, I was listening to at least 2 hours of podcasts a day, and I still do. I just find them an extraordinary medium to learn. It's all that comfort and security that you get and sense of place and home and belonging, but then also you're really challenged. You learn about other people's lives and experiences, different ways of thinking, different ways of being, the past, the present, the future. It's amazing.
Now, on the surface, your podcast interview, it's about tango. as you said already. But to me, having listened to it all the way through, there's a real sense of story to it. So it's not just about tango. And you've told me a little bit about how you came to podcasting, but also I'm really interested in the storytelling element of your process in creating the podcast.
Yeah, I guess when I was thinking about what to do and kind of following different roads and different things, I was thinking, you know, it was very much like sniffing out a story. It felt a little bit like that, and I realized I really wanted to challenge assumptions about tango. We see it as this kind of like erotic thing, and you know, it has a really particular look to it. It's performance, and we see it as like an Argentinian, like this pure Argentinian thing, and in reality, it's not like that at all. It was the music created by immigrants. I wanted to talk about immigration, you know, bringing such richness to a country's culture. And I wanted to talk about intimacy and connection, about generations dancing together. There was so much there to explore, from Argentina to Ireland, from the past to where we are now as people, and the power of dance as well to connect us with ourselves and each other. Yeah.
Cliodhna, thank you so much for sharing some of your story about how you made your podcast. Having listened to the podcast and also listening to you talk, it really does open up a whole new set of insights to be able to talk to you about it. Can you just tell me, how can people listen to the whole thing? Where do they find it?
At the moment, it's a pilot, so it didn't go up onto podcast platforms, but you can find it on the ICO's SoundCloud account and also on their YouTube account. And it's being posted on social media across Instagram and Facebook, so links will be up there as well.
Thank you again, Cliodhna. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care, and I will see you next week.